New poll shows LGBTQ people highly motivated to vote in midterms. GLAAD is releasing the findings of a first of an ongoing series of polls that gauge and track motivation, enthusiasm, and issues leading up to the 2022 midterm elections in November. The poll compares how motivated LGBTQ+ voters are compared to the 2020 presidential election. In a statement, GLAAD said, quote, LGBTQ voters provided the deciding edge for the pro-equality presidential ticket in 2020. This year, the elections are underscored by an increasingly hostile climate towards LGBTQ people in state legislatures across the country. Nearly 160 bills have been proposed in 2022, most, 91 of them, targeting transgender people and youth. And there's been a surge of anti-LGBT school policy bills, 60 of them, we just talked about one of them here in Florida, banning classroom conversation and books about LGBTQ people under the guise of parents' rights. Like Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, the poll found that 83% will definitely or probably vote in the 2022 midterms. 50% are extremely motivated to vote in 2022. This is driven by younger voters 18 to 24, representing 65%. With 48% more motivated to vote in the midterms as compared with the 2020 presidential election. It's
83% is very good for
Yes.
the midterms, really. And you know why? Because we feel that fire in our culitos. All
Right.
those bills that are coming for us, you know, all the trans rights that are going to be affected if a lot of these bills pass, we're afraid. So we're going to vote. We're going to get out
And
there
we
and vote.
have to tell our
It's the only
friends.
tool we have.
right.
And it's encouraging to see that the younger demographic, because they're the ones that are traditionally sort of overlooked because they don't vote. And if they're getting energized, hopefully, and you've said this a couple of times, like if we move from 13% to 15% of the electorate, that it would dramatically shift the results in statewide elections.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have to remember that, you know, as we go forward.
I'm curious in terms of this reporting. First, broadly, does it surprise you? Does it surprise you that GLAAD is reporting there's optimism of getting out the vote for the midterms? Did that reporting surprise you at all? The polling?
It does, in that we know people don't necessarily pay attention. So I think shows like this help raise that awareness of what's going on. I think the SFGN, hotspots, all of those play a significant role right now. I think it was big that right after we left here yesterday, I was listening to MSNBC on the radio, and they were talking about the Don't Say Gay bill as a major national issue because of the repercussions that will happen as a result if it passes. So, yeah.
I'd like to see the methodology, because a lot of times, I mean, it's GLAAD, so you wonder how they ask the questions, how it was phrased, things like that. Like, I mean, I take it with the same grain of salt that I take when I see that Donald Trump is ahead by 43 points in the Red State Today morning consult poll or whatever, you know what I mean? So I'd like to delve in and see more about it. But like I mentioned in my story a little while ago, I can sort of start to feel a shift, at least down here in Broward and Miami-Dade are where a ton of votes are. So if you can feel a little shift, if there's some more awareness, a little activism, hopefully this poll will prove correct.
Well, and it gives us some hope. It gives us some hope that something could happen because, I mean, again, it's very scary times, you know, and I know people personally that have said, I'm not going to go vote because what's the point?
Right.
I want to zero in, cycle down a little farther than what John just said. Is GLAAD's reporting reflective of here in South Florida? Your circle of friends, the politics. We have loads of advocate friends in LGBT advocacy, nonprofits, etc. Here, prides, different kinds of organizations. Do you think the philosophy in our community here in South Florida mirrors GLAAD, or GLAAD, does it? Do you go, I don't feel GLAAD's reporting here in South Florida?
I have mixed feelings. I feel that it does mirror us on some level because we do have so many nonprofits and we have so many people that play a role in our community. The three of you are examples of it. Most of your anchors that are here that have a voice, that have a platform and can get out and influence people. The key is for each one of us, whether you're as an anchor or just a person living in our community, to talk about these issues. Get your friends involved because somebody has to be the tipping point. Somebody's got to be able to bring everyone else along. And if they just look for the headlines in the paper, they're not reading it. So how do you do that? It's each one of us saying to a friend, this is really important and I need you to pay attention. And unless we do that as a community, you're right, then we're doomed to fail. But we can easily change that if everyone who has the platform can influence a few more people, no matter how you do that, whether it be social media or a phone call or a text message or over lunch. But you can get people to do things. You just have to be able to get them motivated.
Yeah.
Do you think Gen Zers, do you think the 18 to 22, 23, 24, that they're going to come out in the midterms? They have no candidate. There's not an Elizabeth Warren or there's nobody in the field that's going to be in the field that is generally like that. Are they going to come out to vote, or are they just going to go, I'm not doing
I sure hope so. I mean, they're the ones that are looking to our future. And I mean, I know that they blame us for everything that's happened in the past, but they're usually the ones that want to fix the future and make things right in the future. I'm more afraid for my age group. Like I said, I got mixed signals from the advocate friends of mine, but I also have my other friends that are really close to me and will say, like, what's the point, Faye? What is my point matter? And I'm literally like, just do it for me, okay? I'm going to pick up everybody and we're all going to go and do it, If it's just for me, just do it. All right, I will do stuff for you.
Do what the GOP has been so successful at, fear. It's the fear act motivates people to do things. They're afraid of the unknown. And so use that fear of what could potentially happen, because like we've talked before, one signature during the last administration, so many of our rights that we got could have been easily wiped out, erased by an executive decision. So
you'd be surprised how many folks in LGBTQ just don't watch the news, just don't think that it's about them, just go, and I'm not saying it's just rah, party, but their life just consists of their inner circle, their job, and their partying. They don't think about politics or government or any of that affecting them now.
It's confusing to me when you say that. It's confusing to me that LGBT doesn't pay attention to what's happening on Roe v. Wade, and then not make the instant connection. If the Supreme Court will reevaluate Roe on settled law, it has been settled law for 40 years, that a conservative court wouldn't go, you know what we did in 2015? We made a mistake.
Let's take it back.
And let's take it back.
Yeah, you don't deserve to be married. And they could totally do that.
They could totally
That is the
do
tool
that.
that I tell my friends, my married friends, that I will tell them, guys, your marriage will be dissolved if people get their way. Just for that aspect, to go vote.
And in our community, whether you're in Miami Beach or you're up here in Wilton Manors in this Oakland Park area, if we could get the businesses on the drive, because they have a big voice in their ads and everything else, if you got every one of those bars engaged and actually preaching to their clients, making a statement at the beginning or the middle of the evening, doing a quick little something on one of the screens that maybe we produce that just says, hey, I hate to break up your evening for a second, but you need to hear this because this could happen. And maybe but we need to do, something needs to be done to wake people up and get to them where they are. And they are in the bars.
Yeah.
They are in the bars.
Right. So,
Exactly.
that they know
I
what's
just
going on.
remind everybody, I have my pulse on this, my finger on the pulse of this. All of the smart money in Florida on the DeSantis campaign and the Marco Rubio campaign and others, but those two specifically, both of those campaigns are looking to win by 1% or 2%. And both of their elections of cycles of governor and that U.S. Senate seat, Rick Scott's Senate seat, it was less than 1%. And so as a result, LGBT is tailor-suited to be able to deliver change in Florida and many other states too. It's a reminder to the people that are saying to you, nah, it's not worth it. You can't even utter those words out of your mouth because they're only looking for 13,000 people to win the Senate seat. That's how close this is going to be.
Yep.
And when you're dealing with every vote counts. And when we're watching manifestos come out of a U.S. senator the way we have just seen, we desperately need those 13,000 votes.
Every single vote?
Every single vote.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ